In 2022, a retired school teacher from Ohio flew to Las Vegas. She had saved for 3 years for this trip. She brought $1,500. Her plan was to play for 2 days, see a show, eat at a nice restaurant, and fly home with a story. She flew home with a story. She also flew home with nothing left of the $1,500. She was at the airport, checking her account on her phone, genuinely confused about how it happened so fast. She is not unusual. She is the business model. The global casino industry generates approximately $500 billion in revenue every single year. $500 billion. That is more than the GDP of most countries. That is more than the entire global music and film industry combined. And almost all of it comes from people who believe, at some point, that today might be their day. So let us talk about what a casino actually is. Not what the lights and the carpet and the free drinks tell you it is. What it actually is. A casino is a mathematically engineered wealth transfer system. Every game inside it is designed with a built-in advantage for the house. This is called the house edge. It is not hidden. It is published. Casinos are legally required to disclose it in most jurisdictions. And people walk past those disclosures every single day without reading them. On a standard American roulette wheel, the house edge is 5.26%. That means for every $100 wagered, the casino expects to keep $5.26 over time. Sounds small. It is not small when you multiply it by billions of bets. On slot machines, which generate the majority of casino revenue globally, the house edge typically ranges from 2% to 15%, depending on the machine and the jurisdiction. The average is around 7%. You are not playing against luck. You are playing against a mathematical certainty expressed across thousands of spins. Blackjack has the lowest house edge of any common casino game. Around 0.5% if you play perfect basic strategy. Almost nobody plays perfect basic strategy. With average play, the edge climbs to 2%. With the side bets that casinos aggressively encourage, it climbs much higher. The global gambling market is not centered in Las Vegas anymore. That is the first thing most people get wrong. Macau, the tiny peninsula off the coast of China, generates more casino revenue than Las Vegas, Atlantic City, and Singapore combined. In its peak year of 2013, Macau produced $45 billion in gambling revenue. Las Vegas produced $6 billion that same year. The money flowing through Macau represents one of the largest concentrations of high-stakes gambling in human history. And the players driving most of that revenue are not tourists playing slots. They are high-net-worth Chinese nationals, often using casino chips as a mechanism to move money across borders in ways that bypass currency controls. The casino, in that context, is not just entertainment. It is financial infrastructure. Singapore built 2 integrated casino resorts in 2010 after decades of officially opposing gambling on moral grounds. The government concluded that if people were going to gamble, the economic argument for capturing that revenue domestically was stronger than the moral argument against it. They were right economically. Marina Bay Sands generated over $3 billion in revenue in its first full year of operation. The moral question got quietly filed away somewhere. Nobody has found it since. That is the landscape. $500 billion. A mathematical system disguised as entertainment. And governments around the world not fighting it, but licensing it, taxing it, and in many cases building it themselves. In part 2, we get to the part that nobody in the industry wants discussed. the neuroscience, the addiction economy, and the question of who is really running the table.
In the 1970s, a psychologist named B.F. Skinner demonstrated something disturbing about the human brain. He put rats in a box with a lever. When the lever was pressed, sometimes food came out. Not every time. Sometimes. Randomly. The rats became obsessed. They pressed the lever compulsively, far more than rats who received food every single time. Unpredictable rewards, it turned out, were more addictive than reliable ones. The slot machine was already operating on this exact principle before Skinner published his research. The casino industry figured it out empirically. Skinner just gave it a name. Variable ratio reinforcement. The most powerful behavioral conditioning mechanism known to science. And it is the foundational design principle of every slot machine, every electronic gaming terminal, and increasingly, every online gambling platform on Earth. The modern casino technology industry does not just build games. It builds psychological environments. Every element of a casino floor, the absence of clocks, the absence of windows, the oxygen levels, the carpet patterns designed to direct foot traffic toward machines, the complementary drinks that lower inhibition, is the result of decades of behavioral research applied to the singular goal of extending time on device. That phrase, time on device, is the industry's internal metric. Not winnings. Not customer satisfaction. Time on device. The longer you stay at the machine, the more the math works in the casino's favor. The problem gambling statistics that emerge from this environment are not peripheral to the industry. They are, in a quiet and uncomfortable sense, central to its revenue model. Research consistently shows that approximately 1 to 3% of the population meets the clinical definition of gambling addiction or problem gambling. That sounds small. Globally, that is between 80 and 240 million people. And those people, the addicted gamblers, generate a disproportionate share of casino revenue. Studies in multiple jurisdictions have found that problem gamblers account for between 30 and 50% of total gambling revenue despite being a small minority of players. The industry knows this. The research is not secret. The internal data that casinos collect through loyalty programs tells them exactly which customers are showing signs of addictive behavior. Increased session length. Larger bets. Returns immediately after losses. The algorithm flags it. And in most jurisdictions, the casino is not legally required to do anything about it. The online gambling industry has accelerated every one of these dynamics. The global online casino market was valued at approximately $92 billion in 2023 and is projected to exceed $150 billion by 2030. It is the fastest growing segment of the gambling economy. Online platforms operate 24 hours a day. There is no closing time, no cab ride home to break the spell, no social friction of other people watching you lose. The machine is in your pocket. It knows your name. It sends you personalized offers when you have not logged in for 3 days. Some jurisdictions are pushing back. The United Kingdom's Gambling Commission has implemented strict affordability checks and stake limits. Sweden, Germany, and the Netherlands have restructured their regulatory frameworks. But globally, regulation is fragmented and enforcement is inconsistent. And the offshore gambling industry, operating from jurisdictions with minimal oversight, continues to grow at rates that domestic regulators cannot easily track or stop. So here is where we land. A $500 billion industry. Built on mathematics that guarantees the house wins. Designed using behavioral science that keeps people playing longer than they intend. Generating a significant portion of its revenue from people clinically unable to stop. Expanding into digital formats that remove every natural stopping point. And regulated differently in every country on Earth, which means the least regulated version always finds the most customers. The casino did not invent human weakness. It just built the most efficient system in history for monetizing it. And the question that economists, regulators, and neuroscientists are all circling without quite landing on an answer is this. When a legal industry's profitability depends structurally on the percentage of its customers losing control, and when that industry has the resources and the political influence to shape the regulations designed to constrain it, who exactly is sitting at the table? And more importantly, who is the house?